This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org here at Acapulco with, of course, a huge conference of anarchists, hippies, libertarians, a lot of people in the cryptocurrency. But one of my favorite people that always comes to this event is, of course, Max Igan, philosopher, scholar, free thinker, and most importantly, just an awesome human being that I really appreciate talking to. And I know you guys too, with all the feedback we got every time we got you on the channel. And Max, I really wanted to talk to you about the kind of facing technocracy that we're all soon, and even already, especially you people in China, are seeing the severe ramifications of technological advancements and the enslavement of humanity. How do you see things unfolding? I also want to talk to you about cryptocurrencies and the dangers and downfalls of that. But most importantly, what do you think is happening right now, and what are the biggest potential dangers when it comes to the technocracy that we're facing?
Well, it's really the merger of cryptocurrency and the technocratic system, what they're doing. You know, the cryptocurrencies, it's a whole new phenomenon, this whole crypto thing that's come online. And a lot of people are putting a lot of good work into it, and there's a lot of good things happening, and it could be used to lead us to a point of self-banking and all sorts of really great stuff. But, you know, with whatever you're creating, whatever you're doing in the world, whatever initiative you've got in mind, if you're not factoring into the equation the reality, the stark reality that this world is run by a criminal class that are going to attempt to co-opt everything that you do and lead it in the direction they want, then you've already failed. That's the thing. You know, a lot of the people aren't factoring that in. Their hubris is sort of taking control of things. They're thinking, well, we've got the cryptos, we're home and hosed, we're free sailing. But, you know, over the top of the cryptos and the digital currency and everything that's happening is what the government's doing is the IoT, the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things where everything becomes digital and your shopping all becomes digital, all the supermarkets are automatic, everything's automatic. And you kind of look at all this, and a lot of the crypto people are supporting this and saying how fantastic the world's going to be in this reality. But look at this. This is an anarchist convention. Anarchy, self-governance is what we want. What they're talking about is basically shifting it all over to AI. That's not self-governance, that's still governance, it's just another form, only it's a governance that removes all accountability. You know, now there may be good points to it and there may be bad points to it, but you've got to really look at where it's going. You know, the people that are in control of the system now are making sure it's going in the direction they want. And with the danger with the cryptocurrency system and the IoT is when it all becomes digital, when all your shoppings, all transactions are digital, cash is removed altogether, and it doesn't matter whether you've got cryptos or what currency you're using, as long as it's digital and the IoT's in place, what they're going to bring in and introduce is what is called a social crediting system, which is what they brought in China, whereby you get awarded purchasability according to your political viewpoints. You know, so all they have to do is look at your posts on Facebook, or you say things outside the box, start questioning government, and they limit your purchasing power. They've done it in China with people. There was a guy who questioned the government. He did an article on government corruption. The government said, oh, you're creating anti-government propaganda, you got to pay a fine or make a public apology. He opted to pay the fine, and then the result was that he couldn't purchase airline tickets. There's no accountability. There's no one he can contact about that. There's no appeal process. He's suddenly banned from purchasing airline tickets and high-tier train tickets, which means he can't leave the country. Yep. So now he's part of the criminal system. He's forced to commit crime in order to have access to normal services that he's used to having. So this is what they do with dissenters. They limit your purchasing power. So it doesn't matter in that situation whether you're a cryptocurrency or what. You can have $10 billion in your Bitcoin account, but if you can't buy an airline ticket and you can't buy certain types of food because your person is not permitted to, is not qualified to make those purchases, it doesn't matter how much you've got in the bank. So that's the danger of where they're leading it, simply because we're not taking into account the fact that there's criminals running the world. Yep. And they're co-opting everything. And this is too easy. This is this clear sailing to free cryptocurrency, self-banking. This is too easy. Yep. It's too easy.
I'll give you my points, because already in Poland they implemented the system during communism. They gave people pieces of cards where you could buy sugar or flour, and a certain amount was regulated to you. And of course, people within the government always got more cards to buy more stuff. And this was even without technology that the system was implemented. They're already doing this in China. And I'll give you my kind of takes on cryptos, the good and the bad. For me, it's really good that it's kind of decentralized, that there are some anonymous coins, that there is so much charity, there's so much so much giving, there's so many projects that are going off the ground. The banks are so threatened that there's trying to manipulate this along with the mainstream media. And then we have JP Morgan and Chase making, grand statements saying this is horrible, this is bad, this is not safe. So there's that propaganda of it, which I think is good. But then there's the other side of it where we have the kind of government documents that are declassified with the NSA talking about creating a cryptocurrency all the way in the 90s. And we also have the possibility that this could be just a big old honeypot that could just collect all the information on people who are anti-establishment, anti-big central banking. It may sound conspiratorial. It's obviously a theory that we're going off to, but it wouldn't be too far from the imagination with what we've seen governments do throughout history. And I think this is a big part that people are missing, is that, yes, there are a lot of problems facing us. Google already censors ideas that they don't like. Yes, some of the ideas are stupid. They're ignorant. Some of them are racist, sure. But Google is already blacklisting them. And there's no recourse. There's no way to get that back. YouTube is doing subliminal, silent kind of censorship with getting rid of your people's notifications, getting rid of people's subscribers, getting rid of monetization, getting rid of our live system, which we've been privy to all the time. How do you see this unfolding, and how do we get out of this crap?
Well, it's going in a pretty dangerous direction. And like you say, there's a lot of good things involved in the cryptocurrency. There's a lot of giving, there's a lot of great wealth being created, a lot of abundance, a lot of good stuff. But you've got to factor into the equation that these criminals are running the world. How we get out of it is to identify the fact that these people have no authority over us. And my argument is we can use the legal system to show how much of a fraud all this is. As I was saying to people the other day, I mean, all of these politicians, these are our employees. We employ these people to manage infrastructure for us. They claim they get their power from the people. But I don't have the power to commit crimes and enact legislation which causes harm to you and then put you in a cage if you don't comply. So how can you claim to get that power from me? You don't. You just give yourself powers that you have no right to have. What people need to do is things like identify harm that is caused in your life by legislation, file an affidavit in law as outlining the harm that's been caused to you, then make a claim against the politician for the harm that he's caused, and use the legal system against them. You'll find it probably won't work, and that should stand as a great demonstration that there is no law, because if it doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to me. And by the way, if you're an American politician, didn't you sign the APAC treaty? So wouldn't that indicate that you are supporting a state which is in breach of Article 33 of the Fort Geneva Convention, i.e. committing war crimes, which makes you a politician who is supporting war crimes under your own law? So let's discuss the validity of you and the legislation you're attempting to inflict on me. Because you're all out of line. You're in abuse of the office that you hold. You're a criminal. It's a criminal class. These people have no authority over us, and we need to call them out for what they are and identify them and tell them to fuck off. Yeah. It's as simple as that. If we're not prepared to do that, there is no other solution. Everyone wants this movement that's going to lead people to safety. The movement is for you to grow a backbone and stand up and call these criminals out for what they are. Do not be politically correct in your actions, just call them out. And that's another thing with this AI system that's coming online, we want a system that's going to cause no harm to people so everyone's safe and all this sort of stuff. But in this politically correct environment that we're creating, what constitutes harm? If I don't call you by your chosen pronoun, does that constitute harm and suddenly I can't buy an airline ticket? Yeah. Is that where we're going with this? Yeah. And if it's an AI algorithm that is dictating what people's purchasing power is and what political correctness is and who gets rewards and who doesn't, and it's all this whole economic structure and political correct society that's being programmed into this, then where are we going with this? This is not anarchy, this is not freedom, this is a new form of governance, only it's removing all accountability, because there will be no method of accountability, no method of appeal. There won't be any human to appeal to, no human to hold liable for their actions. Yep. It will be the AI. Yep. So that's the danger of what can happen with this. Yep. If this social crediting system comes in line. And you think they're not going to do this? Of course they are. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they're heading to. So, with this whole crypto thing that's happening, like I said, it doesn't matter how many billions you make and how generous you are. If you don't agree with the government and you're limited in your purchasing power because of it, it doesn't matter how much you've got. So we need to address that. before we allow this slide into this AI and not allow our hubris to simply think it's clear sailing, because there's always a bigger agenda.
We're at a very critical point in time right now where the decision of total freedom or total enslavement is upon us right now. AI already dictates what is censored on YouTube, on Google, on Twitter. That is not humans who are going into and censoring videos. It's artificial intelligence right now. Amazon already has a store. You walk in, you walk out, pick whatever you want, automatically you are charged. Are we facing that time as critical as it is now, total freedom and total enslavement?
Absolutely, we are. We're at that point right now. We're at a pivotal point where we have to make the decision which way we're going to go. And like I said, we've got to factor into the equation this whole IoT, this whole Internet of Things, this social crediting system, you know, and this whole political correct society that we're creating, whereby I have to call you by whatever pronoun. You're not allowed to offend anybody. You know, they do this to suppress your emotions, because when you look at everything I just outlined, you look at a politician who sits in abuse of the office that he holds, enacting all this legislation which causes harm and all this stuff. If you really step back and look at the world and really step back and look at this system, you will get angry. You will get angry, you know, and we can demonstrate by that simple process of lodging these affidavits and making these claims and getting zero success that there is no law. And so the only other option then is to revert to natural law, which means that this person will ultimately be accountable for the actions they have performed. And what their actions have created is that I'm angry. I'm angry, and it is a wholesome, righteous anger that everybody would feel if they had time to actually step back and consider what these criminals that we refer to euphemistically as federal government and politicians have done to this world. It would be a wholesome, righteous anger, and people will stand up and fix this problem, because that is what we need to do. You need to get angry, folks, and stop these criminals who think they control you, because belief in authority is simply a belief in slavery, and I am nobody's slave, and these people have no right to do what they do. We are at a critically crucial time. We really are, and people have to stand up, grow a backbone, and realize no one's coming to save them. There is no movement. They have to change who and what they think they are and stand up to their employees who are doing all this stuff, because that's what's happening, folks. The servants have taken over the mansion. They're stealing the silverware, they're selling the furniture, they've moved us into the guest quarters, and now they're about to move us into the basement and demolish the house, and everyone's okay with it.
The time is now. The revolution will not be in your timeline, and I am totally in line with everything you described. Don't wait for any movements. It's even just small actions that you could take, moving away from these big oligarchy technocratic systems that they have established with convenience, and moving away to decentralized platforms and systems. It's small actions that I think will make the biggest movements. Don't wait for people to tell you what to do. It's really now for you to really start paying attention to what's happening, because with AI, artificial intelligence, godlike power being given to the small people who already have so much influence and so much power, we're living in a critically dangerous time. Max Igan, thank you so much for your time. The website will be in the description below. Definitely check out Max Igan. I want to thank all you beautiful and amazing human beings who are part of this independent media journey with us and are supporting us and subscribing to us. Don't forget, you are more important than ever. Sharing this message would mean the world to us. YouTube won't recommend it to you. It won't be shared anywhere else. It's up to you. I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more.